what's the weather really like in Denver? I get asked this a lot. Stay tuned for the real scoop. Hey everyone, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. How hot is it? Does it snow all the time? I've heard it hails there like crazy. These are just some of the things that come up on phone calls and Zoom calls with those of you who've never lived out here and are ready to make a move. But change is hard. Is it really that hot? Does it snow all the time? And is the hail gonna ruin your car? Well, let's get talking. The first thing I have to tell you is this is not a place of consistency. We don't have regular patterns year over year over year. So what does normal look like? Snow starts in October. Plan on snow on Halloween. So if you have kids, they need to have a costume that can be bundled up. But also don't count October out for some really great fall weather. Snow is hit or miss in November with wintry weather and fall weather alike. And then December can be warm and it can be cold. We definitely get winter weather in December. However, this last December, it was so warm on Christmas Day that I felt like when I was growing up in Florida. It was sunny and balmy and almost short sleeve weather. January definitely brings the cold. I have yet to remember one warm January yet. Now, February, at least for the longest time, has been my favorite winter month. You get some decent weather in February, punctuated by some pretty nice snowstorms. Usually you get a snow day in there and then it rebounds into 40s and 50s, maybe even an occasional 60, but usually not quite that warm. It's a really great month. This year, not so much. We had snow over half the days of February. It was cold, it was gray, it was snowy. It was a really wild month. So that's what I mean, no consistency. Then we head into March and April. Half of March is great. Once spring break hits, it's blustery, it's snowy. You'll get a few good days and you'll think spring is here. No, it just fooled you. It teased you. It's pretty mediocre weather all the way up until about May. Now, May is our transition month. It might be great. It might be rainy. It might be snowy. It might be all of them. You never know what you're going to get. June to August is our summer. Is it hot? I get that question. Yes, it is. June can be really nice and it can also just come in blazing. This August was our hottest August on record. We broke records most of the month and it was crazy hot. And the heat brings with it a couple of different things. It brings hail, it brings wildfires, it tends to add to our drought. So it's pretty intense around here. This year was a strong wildfire season year again. And here in Denver, because of the intense heat, we did have some wildfires. And for most of August, we spent the month socked in under gray skies and smoky days. We didn't see the sun very much, and it changed the weather. It held in the humidity. Things were just very different here. That is definitely also not a norm, but it does happen. Now, heat, summer, hail, they all go together. Yes, we do have hail here. We are part of what's called Hail Alley. Now, we don't get as much hail right up next to the mountains and in our foothills area. We do get some, but where it really starts to ramp up is when you're getting a little bit east of the city where our plains starts. We do have a decent amount of humidity here in Denver, and it mixes with this hot, dry air coming out of the mountains, and voila, amazing storms. So what is the heat like here? We have people who think, well, it's a dry heat, it's not that hot. And actually, I tend to be of that vein. I think it's pretty great here, though I do tend to spend a lot of my days inside in the air conditioning. But when I talk to folks who have spent some time in Arizona, they say our 95 degrees is a whole lot like their 110 because they are substantially drier than we are. Also, we have altitude working against us. And if you think that that 1 mile difference doesn't make a difference, since, the sun's like 94 million miles away, you are mistaken. The 1 mile altitude difference that we have here really does impact how the sun feels on our skin. It literally feels like you are roasting, crisping. So sunblock is your friend here. What we do have going for us though is that in the shade, temps drop about 20. And by the time evening rolls around 7:30, it's like a whole new place here. The temperatures have plummeted well below 80, usually in the 70s. And everyone comes out of the woodwork. Kids are playing, families are walking around, people are walking their dogs. There are front yard games going on, there's bike riding. Your whole community tends to come outside, and it feels like it was never 98 degrees just a couple of hours ago. All right, September is what brings us out of the blazing heat of summer every day. The leaves start to change color. That carries from September into October. But let me tell you, I'm gonna brag a little bit. These videos are meant to be evergreen. You know, I shouldn't say anything that time stamps us. We are in the first week of September right now, coming out of one of the hottest Augusts ever on record. And next week, we're gonna have weather in September that's already hitting the 50-degree mark for a high. I cannot tell you just how excited I am. When we're lucky, fall lasts a good 4 to 6 weeks. And you can stretch it out by taking some trips into the mountains and then enjoying fall as it moves down into the city where the leaves change a little bit later than they do up in the mountains. Now, winter. But around here, even with the largest of snows, we are up and running pretty quickly. A huge part of that has to do with the fact that we have so much sunshine. Once a storm blows out, the sun comes in and starts to melt everything. Also, we have a huge number of snowplows that are constantly working even ahead of the storm. If you're from anywhere where there is snow, like Wisconsin, upstate New York, those places, you know your plows do the same thing. If you're from the South, you have no idea. You know the city just shuts down and waits for everything to melt off. But we're really proactive and things continue to function really quickly even after the biggest of storms. Also, the winds that come with some of these storms are often coming afterward. The CHINOOK winds are warming winds, and we call them snow killers because they're melting the snow down. So the roads are travelable within days of even the biggest storms, and with our small storms, we're driving in them during and immediately after. So those CHINOOK winds that I mentioned, I actually hate them. They serve a purpose. They're great for getting rid of the snow a little bit faster, but they are doozies. 30 to 60 mile an hour winds can be normal when they're really blowing through. We can have gusts in the 70 mile or 80 mile an hour range. They don't really do much damage typically. They will blow your trash cans around. They can definitely upend your trampoline. Sometimes they will flap off some shingles. They might make your siding come loose, but they are just annoying. So that's one of the things that I do not like about our weather. If you've watched any other videos, you have heard me complain about it, and I don't think it's going to change for me. I don't like it. They do serve a purpose though, so I'm gonna have to learn to be grateful for them. Now, the other thing I mentioned that I did like that melts off our snow is our sunshine. Our sunshine is like the magic pill. In the best of days with no wind, it could be 35, 40 degrees out and it feels like 60. It keeps us active all year round here, and it sheds light into all of the rooms of your home, makes things feel bright and warm. It is wonderful. We are one of the sunniest states in all of the United States. All right, let's see. We've covered snow, temps, wind, hail, sunshine. I think that does about cover our weather. I've shared with you the extremes. I've shared with you the things people are nervous about, they ask me about, but overall, the weather here is amazing. It's why Denver is one of the most popular cities in the US for people to move to. You get all 4 seasons. All of them are tolerable. Most of your days here are sunny with a slight breeze, no humidity, and clear skies with mountain views. This is quintessential Colorado. Do you have any questions I didn't answer? Maybe it's about Colorado weather, maybe it's about living in Denver. Please feel free to reach out. It is always an honor to connect with you and see how I can serve. You can reach me by phone, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I will see y'all next week.